Today we're testing FSD 14.2.2.4. It's the parking test. Done this test, this would be the fourth time. So I'm changing things up just a little bit. I'm going to give a grade at the end of the test, either A, B, C, or fail. And I might give a plus in there if I feel like it's necessary on A. Basically, our first destination's coming up here. It's Brookshire's. But basically, if we can get to all 6 destinations without disengaging FSD, that's going to be a pass. That'll be at least a C. To get an A, we need to get to all 6 destinations without me feeling like I need to repark. So I think that gives you a simple idea of the scale that I'm going to be using. There is some snow, nice on the road, but should be pretty minimal, I hope, not affect this test. I'm changing up the order and a couple, and really just one of the destinations, just to change things up a little bit. Not doing the Einstein's bagels today. Driving in standard mode. All right, we're pulling into Brookshire's. This time the navigation has a different route. Usually it has going all the way around to the back, but this time it doesn't have that. It has going to the left side of the building and then coming around to the front. Have parking lots selected. I don't know why the routes changed. Okay. So it has chosen to take the first right. I think that's smart since there's some ice up there in that pedestrian. See if it can find a spot. Don't love this spot, to be honest with you. But it'll work. Actually going to immediately get going before this person on the right just parked here right before I did. And that's one of the reasons I don't like this spot, just because it's a very tight spot with a vehicle to the left of us. And I know that person's about to jump out of his car. So I probably wouldn't have parked there, but overall, not too bad. I think it really wanted to go more to the center of the store, but because of the ice and the snow there, it chose to just kind of follow that van in front of it and go into that cleared off spot. So it's hard to blame it for doing that. All right, the next destination is Sunview Cafe. That's the one change, is we're going there instead of Einstein's. It's just a little breakfast lunch restaurant. We've got the yellow arrow here. Don't know what we're waiting on. So it had a yellow arrow. I don't know if I could see it. It's pointed up with a yellow flashing arrow on red for the through traffic. And it didn't see it, but as soon as the through traffic light turned green, it went. I've seen it successfully um, navigate through that, I believe, with a yellow arrow, but it possibly had a green light as well. All right, so we're turning into the second destination here. This should be pretty simple. Things like handicap spots might be a little bit of a challenge. It's going to back into this spot right here. Person behind me didn't want to give me any room at first, but they are doing it. Yeah, a little farther, a little farther. I guess this is okay. This is tight too. Oh, it's still going. Yeah, this is really tight. It's kind of hard to see, but we're right on this line. Anyway, we'll continue going. Already questioning my grading system because I think both of those I would have, at least one of those two, I probably would have parked somewhere else, but it would have been hard to get out of my car without maneuvering very tightly because it was so close to the car on my left. And sorry, I'm just supervising here, making sure that it's going to be a nice, safe turn. You know, but with slightly icy conditions, I really don't want to mess around with being, dealing with getting out of the car in a tight space. All right, so that handled that really well, and there was a lot going on. There was a car doing a U-turn, and there was cars coming. Anyway, that handled that perfectly. Even though this is parking testing, I like to comment on any of the stuff that I see doing well or not well, like that flashing yellow arrow earlier. Okay, the next destination is Walmart. I like testing Walmart because we have had one issue once where it parked at the auto center, which was awkward and wrong. It seems like that only happened once, but I want to keep testing it and see where it goes. The confidence it has in parking lots in general is much higher than it used to be. It's just like snuck up all these point releases. It just gets a little bit better. Really noticeable in the last release, the 14.223, and seeing similar results here. All right, so this is the auto center, which is fine. This is where it comes through to get to the front of the building, as long as it doesn't try to park. And we're good. There is a difference in the earlier builds where I think as soon as it saw a parking lot anywhere near your destination, it would just park. And now it seems more refined. I think that's what we were seeing that once where it parked over there where we just passed in the auto center. And it's not doing that at all now. Walmart's pretty busy. Brookshire's is busy too. Usually it's not too bad. This is just lunchtime on a weekday. But I think so many people have been kind of cooped up in their house, and now that things seem a little bit safer, out here on the road. People are probably getting out to get some groceries and some supplies. Honestly, I probably should be doing that right now instead of doing this video, but I want to make sure and get this video out there while 14.2.2.4 is still fresh. So, you know, I just looked at something. I made a mistake. I'm going to change this to, it's looking for a charger. Changing it to parking lot. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize it was set to charger. I don't know where it gets that information. I've never set any destination to charger. So that's why it didn't try to park immediately. I need to start looking at that, at my destinations. But either way, it looks like it's trying to get back into the parking lot here. It'd be nice if it would go into the middle lane here instead of block traffic, but it's okay. Let's see what kind of spot it finds. It's funny and a little nerve-wracking to watch people manage icy and snowy conditions in the North Dallas area. There's this person over here on the left who's trying to pull out. Their front left wheel is in a big pile of snow, and so when they move, the whole car just bumps around because they're on the snow, and because of that, they think that they're hitting something, but they're just an unfamiliar feeling with them. So it's a little funny, but also, you know, I completely understand. Okay. So we got this, definitely some interesting situations here. You can see that Jeep was on the wrong side of the road. Now we have someone recovering baskets. All right, we're going to go around them. That's excellent. Let's find a parking spot. Please don't try to park right there because there's a basket. Yeah, good. Good. It was hard for me to see that at first, but it saw that it couldn't park there and didn't. So that was a basket return area. So we're still looking for parking. Okay. This is really good testing. Pedestrians everywhere, cars everywhere, and it's doing really well. I think if it were me, I would probably go to the right and just try to go to the next since there's less traffic, less going on over there, but it's trying to hold true to the map data. And honestly, park, I guess, close to the front. Okay. All right, so hopefully this is the time where it finds a parking spot. Yep, I think we're going for it next to this truck here. Or next to the curb. All right, it took us a while, but we got there. Part of it was my fault. Sorry about that. I had it set to charger. So the next destination, let's go to, and we are set to parking lot. Good. Someone walking behind us there. So it's, you know, from where version 14 first started, at least first started in the version I got, which was like 14.1.3, I think, they have made huge improvements to the parking lot. I mean, these are big, big improvements it's made. So, interestingly enough, the navigation, I'm not sure what it's, okay. Yep, never mind. I saw this right turn, but it was saying that's going to be the next turn. So it's going to go back out the way we came. Just trying to find some sort of path through all this snow or ice, really. So far, no interventions. I'm not going to take off for that Walmart parking. I think that was obviously partially my fault, but just the way it managed through all those people and all those scenarios was really quite amazing. So it's hard to take off there. Okay, so this is a strip center here, and we're going to Salsa Texmex, which is a restaurant at the end of this strip center. There's a lot of ice and snow, and it's going to back in on this side. You know, it's hard to criticize this, although this is on the wrong side. This is not a bad spot, though. I think a lot of people would be just fine with this spot because you can just walk up to that sidewalk, walk down there, and go to the front of the building. You can see this. This is where the Salsas is, and we're parked right here. So this is not bad. And it's just easy. You look at all that slush and everything. Okay, next is Chili's. So I'm putting the Chili's in first. There's a spot between Chili's and Home Depot. Oh wow, it's going to go back up that same way that we've gone back and forth through twice now. Interesting. It's not the route I would have selected, but it doesn't really matter. Actually, it's not going to do it. It's doing the route I would go. That's amazing. Okay. I mean, I'm supervising, and then I'm looking down at the map. I'll have to look at the video, but I think this thing originally had us going like that, which I did not like, and because this would be a quicker path with less cars, and it either switched or it decided to not go that way just from looking at the situation visually, and then the map switched afterward. I don't know. I'll have to look at the video, but either way, great job. This is the right way to go. So I think I'm at an A or A minus at this point. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Oh, I was talking about the Home Depot. So I chose to do Chili's in front of Home Depot and then the end at Home Depot because I am trying to do this without intervention. And there's a little area between those two where the road's just not mapped. And I could let it go out to the highway and do a big loop. It just doesn't make sense. I'm pretty confident that once that's mapped, it won't be a problem. So I'm doing it this way, and that way it probably will go out to the highway after this and go to Home Depot, but at least it's in the right direction, and it doesn't have to loop around. So here we are, Chili's. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was almost pointed and said it's going to back into that spot right there. That's exactly what it did. There's certain very obvious things that happen and you get used to it, and you can just tell that it's thinking. You can tell what the FSD is thinking once you use the software enough. And this is perfect. This is exactly where I would have parked. It's a great job. We got one more stop left. So far, I'm not off that A or A minus. Definitely not an A plus because of those first two. Were not, in my opinion, ideal spots. It'd be okay. They're just a little tight. So this is interesting because the map actually has it going down that road that I was worried about earlier that I said it doesn't know, but it ignored that and just came out to the highway. It's really weird. I'm looking forward to testing this more and seeing if they change this up at all. So the question here, is it going to park in the pro parking, which will probably pull me down to a B plus, or is it going to parking in normal spot, which is going to hopefully establish that A, maybe an A minus. We'll see. So far, I think the pro parking is on the third or the second. Yeah, it's on the second. Oh, darn it. Parking lot. Guys, that's my fault. I got to start checking that. That's a new behavior of it. I guess it's determining where it wants to park, where maybe it looks at the destination and says, I'm going to just park here. I don't know why it's not automatically deferring the parking lot. I've never had to really adjust that. So apologize. I'll make sure and do that. So we're getting over here to a parking spot. This is fine. This is good. I'm going to give this drive an A minus. And the reason is those first two spots, I don't know that I would have stayed there in those spots, but they were actually pretty good. I think it did it, at least the first one, because of the snow. And the second one, because of the snow, I wouldn't want to park in that tight of an area because just opening the door and kind of squeezing out, I wouldn't want to slip. So because of those first two, I'm going to give it an A minus. If I would have had it set the parking lot and it would have came and parked in this spot from the get-go and not parked up there in the pro spots, which it did last time, then I might have pushed that up to an A, but I didn't get to see it do that. I had to change it in the middle. But anyway, that was fun. Really like what it did at that Walmart. That was really cool to see how it managed through all those people. So we will get out and do some highway testing, some exit testing, hopefully this weekend. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, please subscribe. We'll see you next time.